On June 15, 2026, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most powerful football nations on earth, Spain, ranked second in the world, current European champions, a squad so deep that their bench alone could beat most countries, played their opening World Cup game against a nation of 525,000 people that had never in their entire football history qualified for a World Cup. And after 90 minutes, Spain had nothing. 0 goals, 0 points. And a 40-year-old goalkeeper from a tiny island off the coast of West Africa was lying on the pitch, crying into the grass, having just made the most important saves of his entire life. Before we go inside that 90 minutes, you need to understand who Cape Verde actually are, because if you are watching from outside Africa, there is a real chance this is the first time you have paid proper attention to this team. Cape Verde is an archipelago, a chain of 10 islands sitting roughly 500 kilometers off the western coast of Africa in the Atlantic Ocean. Population approximately 525,000 people, making them the third smallest nation to ever qualify for a FIFA World Cup. Their national team is called the Blue Sharks, and they have been trying to reach this tournament since the 2002 cycle, 7 attempts, across 24 years, before they finally got here. And that journey to get here was not straightforward. Cape Verde qualified as winners of CAF Group D in the African qualifying campaign, finishing 4 points clear of Cameroon with 7 wins from 10 games. And the defining moment came on October 13, 2025, when they beat Eswatini 3-0 in their final group game to confirm their place, with Dylan Livramento, who featured against Spain in Atlanta, scoring the crucial goals in 2 of their most important qualifying wins, a 2-1 victory in Angola and a 1-0 win at home against Cameroon. The Blue Sharks did not stumble into this tournament. They earned it, and they earned it by beating teams who expected to beat them. The man who built this team is Bubista, a 56-year-old Cape Verdean who played as a defender for the Blue Sharks himself, and who became the first manager in history to take Cape Verde to a World Cup. He is Cape Verdean through and through, which matters, because this is not a story about a European coach arriving with European tactics. This is a story about a man who grew up on those islands, who knows what this means to those people, and who organized a group of players drawn from clubs across Portugal, France, England, and beyond into a defensive structure that on June 15th made Spain look completely ordinary for 90 minutes. Now let us go inside the 90 minutes, because what Cape Verde did against Spain was not accidental, it was organized, it was disciplined, and it was brave. Spain had 74% possession, they made 800 total passes, they had 27 shots, 11 corner kicks, and 7 shots on target, and Cape Verde blocked 8 shots. 8 times a Cape Verde body stepped into the path of a Spanish attempt and took the hit, and Vozinha did the rest. 7 official saves, man of the match, the 4th most statistically surprising result in World Cup history according to FIFA's own rankings gap. Spain 2nd in the world, Cape Verde 67th. And now we have to talk about Vozinha, because Vozinha's story is the story of Cape Verde told through one man's career. His full name is Josemar Jose Avora Dias. He was born in Mindelo on the island of São Vicente. He is 40 years old, and he currently plays for Chaves in Portugal's 2nd division, not the Champions League, not a Premier League side. Portugal's 2nd tier at 40 years old, and he just held Spain to nothing at a World Cup. He became a goalkeeper professionally at the age of 25, which is almost unheard of, and spent the next 15 years playing for clubs in Cape Verde, Angola, Moldova, Cyprus, Slovakia, and Portugal. A journeyman, in every sense, on a journey that ended on the biggest stage in football. And his name, the name Vozinha, is the kind of detail that makes this story impossible not to love, because in Portuguese, Vozinha means little grandmother, and he got the name as a boy because older kids would beat him at football and mock him, saying he was going home to cry to his grandparents. And he kept the name, he wore it, he turned it into his identity. Because those are the grandparents who raised him when his father was away in the military and his mother was working. And those are the grandparents who died a few years ago and who were not in Atlanta to see what their little Vozinha became. And when the final whistle went and he dropped to his knees and cried, he said afterwards that was who he was crying for. And there is one more detail from his post-match interview that I want you to sit with, because Vozinha said his mother was not in Atlanta either, not because she didn't want to come, but because Cape Verde is among the 50 countries whose citizens face bonds of up to $15,000 to secure a U.S. visa under the current administration's travel restrictions. And his mother could not gather the money in time. So the greatest moment of her son's career, a moment that will live in Cape Verde forever, happened without her in the stadium. And he cried for her too. And when you understand that, the tears make complete and perfect sense. And because this is a World Cup, the statisticians were watching too. Vozinha became the oldest goalkeeper in history to keep a clean sheet in his World Cup debut. At 40 years and 12 days old, he is the oldest player to feature in a nation's first ever World Cup match. He is the 9th oldest player to ever appear at a World Cup, full stop. He became only the 3rd goalkeeper aged 40 or older to keep a clean sheet at the tournament since Peter Shilton and Dino Zoff. And according to OPTA, he was only the 2nd goalkeeper aged 40 or older to make at least 7 saves in a World Cup match since 1966. Every one of those records earned in a single afternoon in Atlanta. And the world responded, because before that game, Vozinha had approximately 45,000 followers on Instagram. And within hours of the final whistle, that number passed 1 million, then 2 million, then 5 million. And by the time most people woke up the next morning, Vozinha had nearly 10 million followers, 9.7 million at the last count. People from every country on earth discovering this 40-year-old goalkeeper from a second division club in Portugal who just shut out Spain. Paul Pogba posted about him. Brazilian broadcaster Gazette directed millions of their viewers to follow him. Vozinha went to sleep a journeyman and woke up a global icon. But here is what I want you to understand about what this result means beyond the scoreline. Because the result is not just a football result, it is a statement about what the expanded 48-team World Cup can produce. Because in the old 32-team format, Cape Verde might never have been here. The expansion to 48 teams gave Africa 10 spots instead of 5, and Cape Verde took one of those spots and used it to produce one of the most memorable moments of this entire tournament in the very first week. And every person who voted against the expansion, who said it would dilute the quality, who said the small nations did not belong, they were watching Vozinha on June 15th, and they had no answer. Now let us look at what happens next for Cape Verde, because the story is not over. Group H is Spain on 1 point after the draw, Saudi Arabia on 1 point after drawing with Uruguay, Cape Verde on 1 point, and Uruguay on 1 point. 4 teams, all level. And Cape Verde's remaining games are Uruguay on June 21st in Miami and Saudi Arabia on June 26th in Houston. Which means the path to the knockout rounds is genuinely possible. If Cape Verde beats Saudi Arabia and results elsewhere go their way, they can qualify. And the team that held Spain for 90 minutes is more than capable of beating Saudi Arabia. After the match, Vozinha spoke to journalists. And I want to give you his words, not mine, because nothing I could write comes close to the way he said it. He said, "I worked all my life for this moment, for this dream. A lot of generations in the past were dreaming of this day, but they did not achieve it. And now the dream comes true." And then he said something that tells you everything about who this man is. He said he would tell his 18-year-old self to be really proud of yourself. 40 years old, Portugal's second division, a career built in places most people have never heard of, and he made it. And he told himself to be proud.